Hello everyone and welcome back to Scale Sandbox. Yes, I have finally returned and I am ready to build some very cool stuff here. If you didn't see on our last episode, we made this absolutely gorgeous viaduct. And I was just a bit worried about how I could top last episode because, I mean, this is so amazing. I don't know what I can build that's going to be any better than this. So instead, I'm not going to try to, and we're just going to keep building and see where that takes us. So the first thing we've got to do is expand out this way. And then, of course, you guys know I've got to continue the ballast. And now we've made a little bit of a turn. We can widen this ballast out now because finally, I want to have another station. And I think that is a nice enough area to build our station on. And yes, I know up until now, everything has not been to scale, and I'm going to try my absolute best to keep this station to scale. Before we put the track in, though, I want to add the points at this section. And don't worry, this is not their final positions. I am going to use Build Tool to move these around a bit. Okay, so now the points and crossovers are set up. I can now fill in the gaps with track. And of course, we are going to be doing that with gap fill. And there we go. I think a little layout like that is quite nice. Now I think we've got to get the platforms in. And again, as much as possible, I'm just going to try and keep this all to scale, which means these things just have to be a lot smaller than I think they should be. All right, and now we need to come up with a good texture for this. So with the base color in, I now want to add some detail along these platforms. First of all, let's add a white streak along the edge. And then further back, I want to have this like pavement texture, just to add a bit of variation. Now, of course, we're going to need the slopes at the edge of the platforms. And to finish off the platforms, I want to bring the terrain up to the height of the platforms. And now we can use some of these balls just to smooth out the terrain a little bit. And now we've got a nice bit of terrain here that leads into the station. Now, I would definitely like to build a station building over here, but it's not going to be as detailed as my ones in the past have been because it is going to be so small. As I said, I really do want to perfect building with the right scale. So there is a very simple outline of what I want to do. And now we've got the roof on. I think I'm just going to add a couple of windows and door details, and then we're going to be done for this little building. There we go, with some doors and windows added. I think that is looking really, really nice. Now, I know it has nothing on the detail of my other buildings, but hopefully this is a little bit more to scale now. I also want to build a little bridge over so we can get to the other platforms. And just like this little station building is not going to be the most detailed thing in the world. In fact, this has to be so small, I'm not even going to put in individual steps. Now we've got the first little bit sorted, we can head up over the tracks. Cool, and that is the top of the bridge done. Now I've just got to bring it down the other side, and then we can just copy it over once more to this final platform. There we go. Now, it may not be the neatest rendition of a bridge I've ever made, but it's certainly a little bit more to scale than all the others. It's weird building in this smaller style because everything's a little bit more messy and I can't get it as accurate, but it does look better because it's not, like, massive. Okay, now all I've got to do is copy this over to this side, which shouldn't be too hard. And there we go. From afar, looks really nice. Just, don't get up too close. Of course, we are not done. I now want to add some super minuscule fences. And when I say super minuscule, I genuinely mean super minuscule. This is going to be the smallest, weediest fence you've ever seen. There you go. I did tell you it was going to be small, didn't I? And this grouping tool is making my life so much easier. This is so much quicker than placing each slat one by one. There we go. And actually, that fence really has improved this a lot more. It looked really bland and bare before, but I think once we get the fence on the other side and on this other platform too, this will start to look really nice. You know, this might just end up being the best station I've ever built. I'm really liking how this is coming along so far. So now I want to build a couple of flower beds because it's quite bleak here. I'd like to add a bit of color in. I've got a bit of an idea of how to do some custom built ones. I hope this is going to go to plan. First of all, I've just got to add the little box, and now I can start adding some vegetation in. Now I'm going to start with a couple of just these normal green stems. However, on a couple of them, I'm going to add these colored circles, and it's hopefully just going to sort of look like flowers. So I'm going to make two variants of the flower box. I'm going to have one with lots of blues and purples and pinks, and another with lots of reds and oranges and yellows. Okay, so here are my two flower box variants, and now I'm just going to copy them around the station a little bit. There we go. I think that is looking really nice, and it just adds a bit of colour and just a bit of detail into this very, very small and titchy station. Now, finally, I do want to add a couple of trees, and I will come back in a minute and put little sort of planters around the bottom of these. But that is, again, just to bring a little bit of nature and life into this station. And I'm just going to use a couple of little circles as the planters for these trees. And now this station is very, very nearly complete. There's just a couple more things I want to do. First of all, we've got to add some lamps, of course. And finally, we've got to come and grab these signals and copy them all the way over here, because I need to add some signals to the end of these platforms. Now, I need to make sure we get this correct. These two platforms are to be going north, and these two platforms are to be going south. Also, I will come and fix this track in a minute. So we need a signal there and a signal there, and then we need the same the other side. And there also isn't a signal zone for this whole piece of track that stretches right back from the viaduct all the way to here. So we need to add a couple. The first pair I'm going to put is midway through this turn here, which, by the way, I might have finished by the time this video comes out, because I think I'm going to do a stream. And then the other one I'm going to place here just before the train enters the viaduct. And hopefully that gives us a nice even spacing between the signals, and of course between this station. Now, I do need to come and fix this track, so let me just do that quickly. And that is pretty much this station complete. Now, that is all we have got time for today. Thank you so much for watching. In our next episode, I'm going to be doing this little section here. I'm thinking of adding maybe a signal box and definitely some yard clutter with some trees and stuff. And then after that, we can move on to building this town, and then we can continue off in this direction. So lots of exciting stuff. Make sure you stay tuned for that. If you like the video, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.